Hello and welcome to the Pivotal Leadership Interview. My name's Peter Moreira and I'm joined today by Lisa Hayden, the CEO of Pivotal Coaching. Today we're going to have a discussion about trends in coaching. Lisa, thanks for asking me here and it's great to be here. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
So let's dive right into it. You, in our discussions, have told me that there's a difference between coaching and executive coaching. So let's set the groundwork and tell me what the difference is.
Coaching is a busy industry these days, and coaching is a very commonly used word. So yes, as you've noticed, I talk about coaching and executive coaching. The big thing, well, I think maybe I'll tell a quick story. So I had always seen myself as a coach. I had been working in large corporations doing coaching for years, and it was when I peaked on my impact of coaching that I started my journey into executive coaching. And that's when I realized that there was a difference. So much of the coaching that I was doing was what I would call technical coaching. And it was often in a way that you would tell or share information, where executive coaching is a very intentional methodology of the way you have a conversation with an individual around how they can think and create change that leads them to doing something different and ultimately changing their path or course or the result that they want. So, essentially the foundational piece and the big difference is that it's a methodology that you're schooled in, you're practiced in, and you're tested in to be a certified executive coach.
Okay, so you have done research into executive coaching, have you not?
I have.
And can you share with us what your research has found?
So the three themes that really stood out in the research that I had commissioned to have done is that, let's start with the research that I had done. I wanted to learn about what the trends and competition were doing. I wanted to look at what a business case for coaching was, and then what marketing a coaching company should look like. And the reason that mattered is that the coaching industry is a young industry. It's 20 years old, and so it's going through growth.
Executive coaching as well?
Yes, coaching found its roots in sports coaching. So back in the 80s, a very well-known tennis coach took his success in building world-class tennis professionals into the business world, and that's where it started. And so it was very sports coach in its orientation. Now it's been standardized in the methodology that takes it into executive coaching. In the three themes of executive coaching and competition, the business case, and the marketing, the couple themes that stood out in the coaching trends and competition, what really stood out is that there is a drive for measurable results. Corporations don't want to pay for just a really great experience. They want to have some tangibility of what's coming out of these coaching engagements. So measuring is an important part of coaching work these days. There's a focus on coaching for everyone. In recent years and years past, it has been about coaching for senior leaders. And now it's about coaching for everyone. And one of the interesting places and where it's really being demanded is millennials. Millennials are a workforce that is hugely important, especially as baby boomers retire. And so, what is it that really engages this millennial workforce, and how do you keep them? Because we know that if they are not happy, they will leave. Coaching for them, they really value that. That is considered high value. And then the final one is technology. So technology is entering into what has always been a very interpersonal, personal connection style of profession and practice, and it's taking its shape in a couple places. So those were the three trends that really stood out in the coaching research.
So, coaching for millennials. If you're sitting down with a C-level person from a major bank, it must be different than coaching for most millennials.
Yeah, it is.
Go into that a bit.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing is that when someone is really experienced and successful, they can be attached to what's made them successful. So having them see where their change could be, or having them the ability to see their blind spots, may be tougher. Where a millennial often is, they don't know what they don't know, and they've got this curiosity. So they're much more open to what they could learn, what they could be, what they could do. So it would be a more accelerated learning with a millennial, where a senior leader may have a few more incremental steps to get them to the full openness or adoption of what could be different for them.
Right. So one of the first thing that you dealt with was measurable results. What metrics do you use, and how do you know that metrics are changing because of the coaching?
Well, qualitative and quantitative. Instantly people think about the qualitative side of coaching, and that definitely matters, and it's there. And in the qualitative side, it's very much there. And so for me, when I work with the leaders in the companies, I call them executive sponsors, we will actually sit down and set specific goals around what is the impact. Some of it is qualitative, but the quantitative could be about moving an employee engagement number. It could be about a financial KPI that's important to them. Those definitely come into the conversation and focus, and I think one of the things to keep in mind that coaching work is not a 2 coaching session. Most of the work that I do is at minimum 6 months and often 9 months. So you're working with these leaders for a period of time, so you definitely have an ability to influence and impact both qualitative and quantitative change.
And can you place an ROI on having a coach?
Yeah, you can. There's research that's been done, and again, it takes a discipline in the way you structure, the way the work is done to get at that. But the research that's been done would say that on average, the ROI of coaching is 7 times the investment in coaching. And
7 times?
7 times, yeah.
And is that at all levels, or I would assume coaching C-level would pay more dividends than someone lower down?
It is in not all C-level. It would be seen as more senior level ROI.
Yeah.
Again, because coaching is not as integrated in all levels of an organization, that research hasn't spanned into all levels, but definitely I would say around the director level and above is typically where most of those insights would come from.
So I assume that ROI is why companies are paying so much attention to coaching these days. Are there other reasons, or can you burrow down a bit into that 7x return?
Yeah, I think if we look at what's driving the work environments, it's the pace of change is fast. The global business environment and the retention of people, it means that you really want leadership at a very strong and capable level so that you can keep your business progressing along really well. So that's where leadership and investing in coaching becomes important.
Okay. What is the correlation then between having coaches and retention of staff?
If coaching is valued, there's a high correlation.
By valued, you mean by the person who is being coached?
Yes.
Yeah.
And coaching is not for everybody. My husband jokes and says he's not coachable.
Do you agree with him?
Some days, yes. So there are people who are very receptive to the coaching style, and others that are not. And so again, the value of coaching is it's not for everybody, but when the connection of, they see where the coaching work will help them, that there's a trust and fit with the person, the coach that they're working with, and they can see where they're going, the value is very evident.
Right. And I assume you'd have to build up trust from the individual, trust across the board. Talk a bit about the role of trust in these high-performing teams.
It's very important. And so let me just backtrack. When you say trust of high-performing teams, are we talking about a leader leading a high-performing teams, or in the construct of the team that's functioning to do the work?
I would say yes. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Dive into it.
Well, in a team construct, the group as a whole, the foundation of trust has to be there. Knowing that they're all on the same path, they're all going, that if they make a mistake, they've got one another's back, that they can have these candid conversations, that if things aren't working, they can ask for help if they need it. Those types of things are so important in the building of trust.
Yep.
That form the foundation that will take a team through big change. If there's a transformational initiative on the go, those are usually long in duration and can stretch, tensions. They can add tensions, it can stretch nerves, it can stretch relationships. So, if trust is always there, that helps them get through the hard work that they need to do.
Right. And a coach can help engender that trust.
Absolutely.
Trust, I assume.
Yeah. And as a team facilitate that. And then obviously as a leader, a trustworthy leader is so essential. Simon Sinek had a great video out just a couple weeks ago that was about trust and performance. And in the context of Navy SEALs, that oftentimes it's not always about high trust and high performance. Sometimes you'd be okay with high trust and a moderate performance, because the trust is what's going to withstand all the bumps and challenges along the way and get you through more effectively to where you want to get to.
Right. So Lisa, let's wrap it up with a discussion about strategic coaching. I know nothing about it. Enlighten me.
All right. Let's start maybe with the backstory.
Yep.
Coaching, executive coaching, was often used for remedial purposes. So let's,
Right.
for example, you were a leader and you were missing your performance targets, your team was unhappy, there were a number of issues. A coach would be brought in to work one-on-one with you. That led into what's called incidental coaching, which is that you'd say, Peter's got great potential. I think if we had a coach for him, it would really help him move
Fill
to
in the
his
gaps.
right and move to his next level of career.
Yeah.
The opportunity and part of my vision in starting a company in this very highly competitive coaching world is the strategic coaching, which is really getting intentional about the goal of coaching and being in and how you structure the work and what you plan to get out of the work, which means that it could be you as a leader, sorry for putting you on the spot, you've got a big mandate now, but you as a leader have been given this mandate to decide on and implement one of the most significant technology changes in your company's history. And to do that, it's not just affecting you, but it's affecting your whole team. So how does the coaching engagement work? It's not just you're going to hire someone to work with you for 6 months and have these lovely coaching conversations. It's let's plan through what this project's going to look like. What's going to happen at month 1, month 3, what are the milestones, what are the challenges, and then what are your skills as a leader that need to be moved to the next level to really help the impact and success. And strategic coaching taken the next level, which I'm doing much more of, is when you bring a group together. So let's say, for example, this technology was affecting you and 5 other leaders in your organization. All 5 of you would form a cohort that would then go through the same coaching program often with the same coach. They would work alongside you, keep you connected as a group, but also work with you individually so that it enhanced your success of realizing the important milestones and the strategic objectives of the project you were working on.
So is it the duration of that project, or does it sometimes keep going?
It sometimes can keep going.
Yeah.
Again, keep in mind a lot of the engagements, they start sort of with that 6 to 9 month time horizon, and then the extensions happen based on where projects are and priorities are.
Okay then, thank you very much.
And thank you.
I've been joined by Lisa Hayden, the CEO of Pivotal Coaching. You've been watching the Pivotal Leadership Interview. I'm Peter Moreira. Thanks very much for joining us.